Okay, so this is a Port Jackson fig. It was found on a cliff, and I had to abseil down to get it. Um, I think I took this thing about, 10, 15 years ago, at least. Um, it's looking relatively healthy at the moment. It's made a recovery. I nearly killed this tree. This thing was used to growing on a cliff, fairly dry environment, had a good root structure. I put it into a pot that I wasn't aware was buckled at the bottom. And this is a hidden danger. When your pot is buckled at the bottom, it can actually hold water. So I was taking care of this tree and I was watering it regularly, and I noticed the leaves were turning yellow, all the tips were looking off, and it was going into some sign of shock. And I'm like, what is going wrong? Because this thing, when I put it in soil, it didn't look like stopping. It was just so vigorous. So I saw what was going on and I did a bit of research online. Thank God for YouTube. Um, Other people have mentioned this issue with their trees. It wasn't the fact that I was over caring, over watering. The fact is the bottom of the pot had low points, which collected nearly 2 centimeters of water. So that pot was removed. There is nothing in that pot now. I could actually put water in it and water just holds in it. So I got root rot. These are the dangers of probably cheap pots. You don't realise it when you buy it, but if you put a pot down and put water in it, if it ponds, it's subject to creating problems for your root development and health for the tree. So this thing has made a recovery. It's looking good because I have a nice canopy of leaf. This is one really good sign. I mean, look at the size of this leaf, the shine, the new tip, the node length. It's starting to throw. This thing is running right now. And it's on a back branch, which is convenient because I like a good, healthy, strong back. I have my first heavy pad on this side. It's looking really well. It needs to be manicured. However, this side has been struggling. And when I look at it, what I have here, when I clean this up, you'll probably be able to see it with better detail. But in here, I have a branch in close, then it comes all the way out. I got a fork, I've got a little tip here. I tried to flex it and I noticed sap come out. I have to be gentle with him, otherwise I cut it off. I need back budding here. I've got a fork right out wide. Okay, so I have that fork, this fork, but the growth here is nothing in comparison to this pad. This pad is really dominant. This is very weak. So today I might wire this back around into correct position and try and get this pad working a lot better. I have a new shoot up the top here that is running really good. Big leaves, providing lots of shade and stealing light from the pad underneath. So I have to look at the direction of this tree, the way it's running, and tell it where I want it to run. Because what I'm doing is I'm snuffing out this branch. So I just thought I'd get this tree in for some work. We've got a cold day today. A lot of my trees went into a bit of shock with a cold snap from 31, 32 degrees down to 24. So the weather's changing. I'm approaching the end of the season for growing these guys. This thing will slow down coming into autumn. So today's temps are 24, tomorrow's back to 32. The next day is 33, then 36, then 34, then 31, then back to 26. So what I'm going to do is do some work on this tree, maybe get some wire on it, start getting the tree back into shape. It's a little bit off. It's coming out all over the place. I mean, you can see my dieback. It's a shame, but this was a dominant filler here. So root rot is nasty. It's a killer. This isn't a small tree. This is quite strong. When I took the tree, it had 3 trunks. I took the middle trunk and shortened the biggest, and the left one I took, and that is why I have such a strong dominance here. When I chop it, I guess you're going to see a little bit more. Right now you can't see a thing because of how heavy the foliage is. All right, so number one, I'm going to look at some of this growth here. I really need to get into this to provide light here. I'm not going to touch this because I need it to strengthen up. So what I might do, I could possibly come over here. I could wire that down. I could probably wire that down, and I could, do some wiring here. So when I move these, I'm getting white sap leaking. She's not enjoying being bent at the moment. I have to be gentle. I'm a little bit heavy-handed with these things. This is growing straight up, so anyway, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to take out the upward growing. Maybe I want to keep that. I think I can train that. However, I do have this underneath, which is stronger. Tough decision. I might train it, but once again, I have all this goodness under here. I'll come back to it. All right, let's look at number one, dieback. Finding a start's really tough. Okay, so that's dead. I'll cut a bit more off. That's dead. Ooh, we're starting to get a bit of green. It still looks dead. Yeah, that's still dead. I think I'm going to have to go right in tight. Yeah, I was hoping to keep it, but there it is. We got sap. That tells me it's alive. So if I was to see if I could focus, that looks dead and dry. When I turned over, you get the green tinge of cambium. So you can see the difference in life and death. So that's why I chop back gradually, to find out where the life is and where the death is, because I don't just want to take back something that has potential for backbud. Okay, sticky sap. I'm going to lose this big behemoth out the back here. So I'm going to have a look at where he's... Oh, look, we have ramification forming here. So that's not a bad place to dock him. What I'll do is I'll just come forward a little bit, because I want other possibilities. I want more opportunity, and that is a dominant leader. I can get more on that. This I could leave out, but here I've got this stuff sticking up. I want this to grow out, so this is getting a bit congested. This is going to really change him. All right, so we're getting the back pad happening, getting it back. Look at this sap. That's good. She's bleeding like a stuck pig. So yeah, that was my dieback. That was a chop. And you can see that I need to train that around now and get this branch back out here. I'm going to tip this because I do want back bud. So I'll bring him in quite short, one leaf on. I'm going to tip this back here. I left 2 leaves on. This one here, I've left 3 on there. This one here, I really want it to tip out the bottom. I left 2 on that. This one out here. Okay, we're shortening up. So this has been attacked. You can see inside now that cut I made when I took the tree has finally nearly healed. I did cut something big there. I lost something there, but that's okay. I've got a good, strong branch here. Back in here, let's get rid of that because that shouldn't be there. This shouldn't be here. That shouldn't be there. Right. That I could probably get rid of. Yeah, that's too close. I don't want that. I'll keep this for now, but it's right close to the base. That scenario can create reverse taper, they call it, when you have too much growing on one spot. Okay, so this I'm going to leave. I don't know what happened to that leaf. This I might leave. This, of course, is what I need to work on. I could possibly go chop here and hope for back budding, but right now I want this to get vigor. Maybe I'll put some sphagnum moss on this branch, induce aerial roots. Aerial roots hit the soil, it provides nutrients and a stronger, healthier branch, but it will make this area swell. And I don't mind it swelling up because the thickness of my first back branch, side branch. So now that I've got a bit of a feel of what I'm going to do, I'm really going to be brutal on it. Maybe if I knock back this bit. All right, that means I'm going to lose that. Didn't want to. You know what? I'll just tip it. See how it responds. Once you cut it, you can't sew it back on. Maybe I need to get in here a little bit. Open up the front of the tree because I can see it's quite heavy in here. Now, this I'll work on. Leave that. This, I'm going to attack this. Okay, so I have fairly dominant branch there that I could wire that. And I really need to bring this around here for training. So I know I've got to wire that. This is coming forward a great deal. I need to shorten him. So I'll pull him back. What do we got up here? This apex. I lost my original apex up here. Let's gradually knock him back and look at the changes made. So this apex can be coming up into here. This looks very strong and healthy. So I've left just a couple of leaves on that tip. So if I fold that leaf under that leaf, letting him get the light, and this is the start of another little pad here, like a back branch, allowing air layer in here. I don't know if I'm going to keep that. I don't know if I want to train that out, and bring this out as a filler, because I've got a void. This is getting long and lanky, and for such a high up branch, one leaf on for you. This one, I left that for that directional branch this way. This is quite dominant, quite heavy. I'm going to really take that off. This will be another branch here. Now, the way this tree looks, this is the dominant leader, and there's like a secondary leader that I've come up. I've split the fork. Whether I use it as a sacrificial or I do that to sort of build out. I mean, this is quite short, quite wide. I'm starting to think I might have to bring this in to get balance, because this is so big, such a big pad. It's growing so well, but if I don't, it's only going to get bigger. So I do have to bring this back in to make it more balanced and get that shape. So it's sad, but there's some leggy growth in here that needs to be shortened up. So where I can see it needs to be corrected, I'm making pretty tough decisions. I guess I'm going to do a bit of a hard cut back by the look of it. It wasn't my intention. It was just to pull it back into shape. But when your shape's so bad, I can see a healthy tip. All right, I've gone back there. This one. I'm just going to dock him and just see what happens. But when you got leggy growth, all these died, and then I've got one coming off it. It's just cut, see how it backbuds. A lot of my trees are backbudding like mad right now, which is awesome. A lot of the trees that I've attacked very heavily have put out 100-fold. It's just amazing how much they're putting out. But these warm days are inducing growth. It's just those cold snaps that are turning my leaves yellow. So this is very long and leggy. If I chop it, there's potential that it won't backbud. Because I want it, I leave one leaf on. This is really sticking up like a sore thumb. I do have a tip here. There. I'm refining my pads, letting these guys have a chance with a smaller leaf. This one, he's tucked under and something's happened to his tip. I think the chook manure might have burnt the tip when it was leaking directly on it. Seeing that, this is growing here. Okay, I think that opens up the tree a little bit. I'm going to take this off just so it opens her up a bit more. You can now start to see inside here the taper. I'm going to take that there. I'm almost done. So I need to take more from there. I need to train this to go this direction or completely dock it. I'm going to completely dock it. It's growing the wrong way and bending it back 180 is just not practical. So this one here, come out and I could train it around. This is growing in too close to the main trunk. I don't want it. I'm not giving it an opportunity to grow into something that I don't want. So I've got a little back branch here. I'll keep him. This is forward facing. I can train around. But I think you get the idea of this tree. So what I've got here, I had to shorten in. I do have a tip down in here and little tips here. So this I'm aiming to back bud. If this one doesn't back bud, I'll just chop it there and then cut back on the back bud. This is quite strong. This was a part of the side branch and I think my back branch is starting to intrude. I'm just going to go in there. I need to really look into that. So that's part of side branch, this is back branch, and these two are sort of becoming one. So big cut, okay. That wasn't taken lightly. You can see how this hasn't back butted, but I could have taken that off and kept 1, 2, 3. This looks like dieback, but the decision was made based on separating my back bud, my back branch and my side branch. So I'm making these decisions so I can sort of get something in here. This is becoming too strong. So based on that decision making, I think I'm doing the right thing. I'm just going to knock this back. Ooh, went a bit heavy in there. That's right, she will heal over. So, geez, I've done some damage to her. This is coming out. All right, we've got a bit. You know what? I'm thinking that's got to go. I'll keep this. Okay. It's starting to look like something. She's bleeding so much sap. That is so good. That is such a good sign. I thought I was going to lose this tree, but I managed to change the soil, change the pot. I've given it an oversized pot. I think it's oversized. I wanted the roots to recover. I wanted the roots to grow back with vigour. I've used a lot of lava rock. This is very well drained soil now. I'm just going to take the tip off this guy. Take the tip off this guy. I really need back budding. This thing needs so much work. This is starting to take over the top of it. So this is coming out to your face. This doesn't need to be that heavy. Okay. I want that to back bud. Oh, it's a difficult decision. Let's just leave a little bit on. I'm banking on a back bud here somewhere. And let's go here. I can tip that. Okay, have we been around the world and back? How's she looking now? This is growing up. I don't like it, but I want growth on this branch. That I might wire into position. The rest of it's looking okay. I'm hoping to get growth here. Check out this sap. Wow. Mate, she is bleeding. It's like that time of the month. That was butchered. Okay. I think I've given it a good tip. I've gone back to where I want it. I really want to train that down. I really need to train that branch up. So I might pull that down. These could come down. So I'll throw some wire at it. What do I want? Let's do the main branch underneath first. See if I can get some direction going. I think this will be heavy enough. I don't want to create any problems with these little tips. I just really hope that this back buds. Okay. Be gentle. I'll come in on this one. This is quite leggy. If I get some growth, that'll be awesome. I really want to bring this around as well. Bloody chair. What have I got? I'll probably bring this one across and it pulls everything with it. So what I'm going to do is just anchor it back here. Follow the other wire. Careful. Okay. As you can see, I'm reusing my wire. Don't know if that's even pulling around much. I just fucked a tip. That's okay. If it grows back, it grows back. There's no point folding. I do have a healthy tip under here. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm banking on that coming out. I'll give it some light, see how it progresses. Got another tip in here. So bring that wire just over a bit more. Okay. So I'm opening up some space. This is very dominant, this forward branch, but when this tree was taken, it had a trunk here, and this trunk growing out here. And it were 3 trunks like that, and I went, what am I going to do? I took out the middle, so I kept the side. The middle was growing here, and this one I chopped short, and this has come out. Very, very dominant. This one from the side, I'm hoping to get like a bit of balance here. And this, I really need something to happen because it just looks skinny, lanky, and not performing very well. The sap is just pissing out of this thing. So I can always come back on this big heavy back branch and go where it forks. But I didn't want to go too hard. Maybe I should. These are things I'm thinking later on. I'll look at the tree and see how it responds. But there you go. There's my Port Jackson fig taken from a cliff. You guys would call it Yamadori. Yeah, I hope you like it. It's a pretty cool looking tree, considering I had to abseil it down a cliff and take it, and its thickness is, pretty solid. The roots have made a recovery, thank God. Oh, I've got a little hitchhiker in the back here. I don't really want him. I didn't even see any of this. Okay. This is until I sit down and have a look at it. Yeah, I was going to wire that, but I can do that later. It's a very soft branch at the moment. Being soft wood, these things lend themselves to wiring as well. That's on the back there. That's good. Okay. I think I'm going to wrap it up at that. Just a bit of dye back here. Here we go. See how she grows from that. Anyway. All right. I'm going to wrap it up at that, and that's all she wrote. I will see how this thing progresses. It's in some well-drained soil now. It's made a recovery. I have to see how it responds. I'm letting more light in, lower branching. I think that's the road I should be taking. I've got to get rid of this big heavy leaves, but the moment a new tip goes, I can just dock the leaf. Maybe there's a little bit going on in here that I don't need. You know what? That's got to come out too. That's going to create a reverse taper. sort of bubble growing out of here. That's a bit better. So maybe this will just be the start of another side branch. Maybe I should change that and just keep with the dominant leader. Anyway, that's a tree I found and nearly killed. And it wasn't for overwatering, it was primarily in a bad pot. And they're the hidden dangers. You got to look at your trees once in a while, see how they're going. And that's something that I failed to do. And it only cost me a good tree. Any comments, any feedback? Chuck it on there, mate. I'll have a look. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something from it. Had a look at another Port Jackson fig. Surprise, surprise. This is annoying me. I'm going to do it. There. I got to take the tree away from me, otherwise I'll turn into a stick. All right, guys. Take care. Enjoy.